City of Sanford City Commission Work Session, Monday, March 28, 2016 at 5 p.m. Railroad Depot Room, 2nd floor, Sanford City Hall, 300 North Park Avenue, Sanford, Florida.
Hi, Mr. Mayor.
Randy just said he's not going to be here. His truck broke down.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Have we heard Commissioner Williams?
I have not heard.
Well, we have a light agenda.
Yeah,
Want to proceed?
just proceed.
All right, we'll
I don't
proceed.
see anything on here we should even be here. To be honest with you.
Oh, there's
We
one.
could have put this off till next year.
Good evening, members of the commission. First item is a discussion regarding environmental testing for the catalyst site. So, Mr. Tom George.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Just wanted to bring you up to speed on the catalyst site, about 5.35 acres. We've been having some environmental testing done on it. And it consists of 8 parcels. I'll just talk a little bit about the different parcels. This is the map of the parcels. This is the courthouse parking lot. It's 2 parcels. This
You
is
meant
the-
to say the city parking lot that the courthouse uses.
The courthouse parking lot owned by the city. This is the former old post office site, and the parcel next to it, that's one large area. This is grass. This is the old Lakeview Plaza site, and this is the asphalt, the gravel parking lot site. I'll start with A and B. In environmental terms, when they do testing, phase 1, and phase 1 is really a historical research. They research the old Sanford maps, which are old insurance maps. They do all the research, look at all city directories and everything they can find the historical. They don't do any actual borings or anything, but there's not, and they identify what are called RECs, recognized environmental concerns. So for A and B, for the current city-owned courthouse parking lot, there are no recognized environmental concerns. For the same for C and D, there are no recognized environmental concerns. When we took down the old post office, there were some asbestos in the building. With some asbestos in the building, we managed that and took that out. The only comments about A, B, C, and D is a lot of that is old lake bed, and it's been filled with Lord knows what, and that is a concern. In the past, when we've done some excavation for the seawall, for Riverwalk, Chris can tell you we've run into old pilings. Some of those things were creosote coated, and so there's no way of knowing what's in A, B, C, and D because it's old historical fill that goes back to the early 1900s, late 1800s in that area. So at some point in time, when Tory does the geotech testing, the possibility they may run into some things in there. What we plan on doing is if they pull up some soil when they're doing their geotech stuff that looks, or in some cases you can smell the stuff, we will do some soil testing at that point to try to determine what may be in there. But we don't intend to do any further testing right now in A, B, C, and D. E, again, is old Lakeview Plaza. There were some concerns with that. There was the possibility of some underground storage tanks. There was a former dry cleaner site there. We weren't sure if it was just a pickup or a dry cleaner. They actually did laundry and stuff there. The good news is we've had some additional testing on Lakeview Plaza, and we've got a clean bill of health for that.
Oh, good.
The huge question mark is this area right here, the gravel parking lot. As you can see, historically there's been a ton of stuff in that location. On parcel F, there was back between 1929 and 1970, there was an auto service facility and a printing shop. There were 2 gasoline tanks that are depicted in an old 1929 Sanmore map. Don't know if they're in there or not, but at least there were, at some point in time, there were 2 shown on an old map. And this printing operation goes back to 1906. So that's an area of concern, obviously. Parcel G, there was a print shop and a photo shop on the 1929 Sanborn maps, and there was an auto repair and paint facility shown on 1947 Sanborn maps. over to parcel H, there was a print shop and auto repair shop between 1895 and 1929. So those are that site is what we intend to do the phase 2 environmental the site assessments on. In phase 2s, they will do ground penetrating radar to see if there's any underground storage tank, anything to identify. If they do, we'll have to further investigate those. They will do up to 20 soil borings. Let me get to the right page here. Up to 20 soil borings, and take soil samples to look at soil quality, see if they come up with any kind of contamination and that type of stuff. They will do up to 8 what they call volatile organic and halogen vapor samples that will look for petroleum traces or metal traces of metals in those areas. They will do 8 shallow monitoring groundwater wells to test the groundwater. And based on those tests, they will also, if they need to, do some soil and groundwater vapor analysis to see if there are vapors coming off of those things. So that is the area of concern right now. We have a quote from PSI, who's done all this testing back to when we started doing Lakeview Plaza, for between 31 and 36,000, 36.9, I think, depending on the amount of testing you have to do. That's our next step in this evaluation. I haven't sent any of this to Tori yet, only because I don't have a final report on any of these things. I have a draft report on everything phase 1, and they're finishing those reports, and we're talking about some language, and they'll get the final reports to me. We intend to send those to Tori. We're sharing all this information with Tori, but they haven't seen any of this stuff yet. So with that's where we are, and I'll answer any questions that I can.
Wasn't there a hotel on that site as well at one point?
It didn't come up historically as far as
No, that wasn't where the
it doesn't
hotel
mean
was.
that it wasn't missed, but I didn't realize there was as much. Some of the folks have been there longer than I may realize there was many things here, but that's the concern.
Well, we have to if we do a deal, we have to hand them a clean bill of health. So it's our responsibility as ownership.
Chris Smith had just recently told me something. We obtained this corner here that we've had for a long time through I'm sorry, what type of grant was it?
An EDI HUD grant.
HUD grant. They actually paid us to purchase the property, but one of the stipulations is that it will be used for a public-private partnership for something to do with parking structure. And it may turn out, even though this may be a little concerning, it may turn out that would be a good location for a parking garage, because you can, even with those things, you can put a concrete slab, and as long as you're not residential, you're not doing groundwater stuff, that might be a good area. So that's a possibility. And it doesn't rule out everything. It just they are areas of concern. One other thing that they look at off-site stuff also. You may have noticed this is the plume from the dry cleaner site in Palmetto. However, EPA is doing a good job cleaning those things up. But it does, and this is the outside perimeter of it, but it kind of cuts across the corner right here. And one other thing, there was a former filling station here. This is not within the site, but it is. All the water here moves towards Lake Monroe, so we may want to do a little bit of poke a few holes in here to see if there's any. We don't have any records on that, whether there's anything there or not. But if there was ever anything, it would migrate this way or this way. So we might do a few soil borings along here. Thank you.
Is the blue line, is that the flood line, or what is that?
That's the old, it's 1890 lakeshore line. So you can see where the lakeshore was in 1890.
Wow. Interesting. All right.
Okay. All right, next is on the agenda, we have the elder agreement, so Mr. Thomas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Good afternoon.
I'm here today to request the approval of $30,000 from the city manager's budget to fund the Youth Empowerment and Leadership Development Program and to enter into a contract with Career Source of Central Florida for additional funding for the program. The Commission approved the program last year at $30,000, and we accepted 22 students into the program last year. This year, with the assistance of Career Source, we want to expand it to 50 students that would be employed for the summer and participate in youth leadership and development. And the way the program, the arrangement would work with Career Source is the City of Sanford's $30,000 would cover the cost of the administrative cost plus the wages or compensation for 10 students. Career Source would cover the compensation and benefits for 40 students for the summer, giving us a total of 50 students. The hours that the students work would increase. Last year they worked on an average of 11 hours a week when participating in training. This year we will increase that to 20 hours a week for 8 weeks. It would start the first week of June and the program would operate through the last week of July. The 20 hours and the rate of pay would be $9 an hour for the students. The total cost of the program between the city's $30,000 and Career Source will be putting in approximately $85,000 in the program this year. So we're slightly over $110,000 for the program. The program will start with a 1 week of training, life skills, career development, pregnancy prevention. It's about 11 sections that would be covered. That's 24 hours of training that would take place the first week. Actually, would start right after Memorial Day. So that would start that Tuesday, the 31st of May, and would go through like June 4th. June 6th would start the official placement of work sites. The students would be placed, and so we had several students here with us last year with the city. They would be placed throughout the city with businesses and corporations, trying to match the students up with their work experience and based upon the interview. With me today, I have Ms. Joyce Henry from Career Source, the educational specialist that we've been working with in designing the program. We started these conversations last year, but we got in a little late, and the city funded the program entirely with the $30,000. This year we started our negotiations and discussions in time that we could be included in their summer program. In addition to Sanford, Career Source, I think, also working with the city of Popka for a summer youth employment program as well. So what we're proposing, requesting is the $30,000 for the summer youth program to enter into a contract with the YELDA program to administer it and to enter into a contract with Career Source for the additional funds. Any questions?
I have
Yes.
a couple just to clarify what's going
Mm-hmm.
on. It looks like the city's cost per student is 50% higher than Career Source, but is that because we're funding the training?
We're funding the administration. So we're covering the cost of the coordinator, and as well as an additional position in this year that we didn't have last year, and that's a bookkeeper. To manage the books, do the tracking of the time and timesheets, to work with Career Source and being sure that the necessary paperwork gets completed and documented and submitted.
And on the item that lists services rendered by the city and by Career Source,
Yes.
on the back under Career Source, it says that they'll do case management of the 40. Is that supposed to be all 50?
They have the 40 that they will be paying for. We have 10 that we will be paying for.
Right, but
So-
it looks like we'll provide administrative oversight and case management services for up to 40 Sanford City youth.
Right. We have the 10 that's
Nobody-
not part of their program that they're not paying for. So they won't be participating in that case management. Case management will be going on with the Elder program for the 10 students that are compensated through the city's $30,000.
And the city will be doing that case management?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood. So all 50 students are not going into the same exact program. They're two different programs.
In a manner of speaking, yes. Because Career Source, with the 40 students that they're paying for, has a different set of paperwork that they need to comply with. Because I think you're funding, if, ask the question if it's in here, is you're spending TANF funds. TANF dollars. Okay. So they have a requirement that they need to meet with the TANF dollars that we don't have with those 10 slots that are being paid through the city's funding.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Woodrow, perhaps you could share with the rest of us what TANF dollars are?
Yes, TANF dollars are specifically for participants who are receiving cash benefits and food stamps. And under the WIOA Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act guidelines, we can use a certain percentage of those dollars towards career planning, internship, job readiness preparation in order to prepare them for training or prepare them for going into the military, or prepare them for going into post-secondary education. So a certain percentage of those dollars we can use for youth ages 16 to 24.
Okay, thank you.
So is the coordinator and bookkeeper just for the city's 10?
Nope, for the entire. Some of the others, you talk about the coordination of the program. With the program, there's, well, we're going to have a kickoff event that will start the program. There will be an end of program event, a celebration. Also at the end of the program, there is a educational field trip that's being coordinated. That's when you look at comparing the cost on a per student cost, it would seem to be higher on the city side because those are administrative costs that we're covering within the program that you cannot spend the TANF dollars to cover. But we're doing it for all 50 students that will be participating in the overall program activities.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
I just have a quick comment.
Go ahead.
I just want to
Thank
thank
you.
Ms. Hinton again. She's awesome. She and I sit on the CSBG board together. And, you know, last year when Mr. McQueen
Queen.
came to Andrew, you know, and it was kind of last minute, and the city was just really responsive, and the commission was great, you know, and Joyce said, you know, next year we'll get involved, and you know, she and Andrew have just been super proactive, and I went to the graduation last year, had the privilege to go, and gosh, what a bunch of awesome kids, they really were. So I just want to say specifically, you know, to Joyce, thank you. She's an awesome lady, and we really appreciate working with you. And I know you love working with Andrew probably more than me.
I would just like to add, before I leave, on April 16th, the police department had a community conversation. Intentionally, unintentionally, somebody posted that it was a youth job fair.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
being held at Second Shiloh Church, which was the police department's community conversation. There were in excess of 100 students, young people that showed up there looking for jobs. So we had to be the bearer of the bad news. It was not a job fair. but it did give us an indication in terms of the need out there, and that is one of the areas that the community has been. I'm going to say that it's aggressive in terms of approaching the city about what are we doing this summer. P is the word, are you going to fund the YELDA program? And we did it at half of what we've done in the past last year to 22. And would we be expanding the program? So we've been diligently working, trying to expand the program so that we can employ more young people this summer. So for that, thank you. And if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, what is not on the agenda but I thought was brought to your attention on the items that we asked to act on tonight is item 7A. It's the Schedule G, Architectural Design Standards Modification. This has been before you before. It was set forth for a date certain today because staff needed some additional time. In your write-up, the suggested motion is to move to continue it to date specific. In talking with the staff, they would suggest that they would be ready by the April 25th meeting. So if that pleases the commission where it says date specific, April 25th would be a date that the staff feels they'd be good to forward it to.
April what?
25th. It just seems, it says for the motion to move it, to continue it to an item for date specific, but it doesn't say a date. So I just wanted to know, let you know that in talking with the planning staff, they feel they would be ready for, and comfortable if you were to move it to the April 25th meeting.
Okay.
Okay. All right, next item is the manager's comments, and I thought this would be a good time to give you an update on where we were with the pay and classification study. So with that, Mr. Paulson.
Good afternoon. Briefly, just to let you know, we have contracted with a vendor, a provider called Management Advisory Group, and they have already been on site. They were here last week, met with quite a few employees. They had a session with the directors, gave them an overview of the program, and then they had 6 sessions, six sessions last Wednesday as well. And they met with close to 200, 250 employees. I didn't get a good head count, but it's quite a few employees attended. And in that session, in all those sessions, what Management Advisory Group did was they advised the employees what the pay and classification study is and is not. And it's about the positions, it's not about people, and that there is no guarantee that any position will have any type of change in salary. So we're going to do a good study with it. We're excited about having these folks with us, and the next step right now is we have sent information over to Management Advisory Group to look at as far as current pay scales and this type of thing. Right now, all the employees are asked to complete their job analysis questionnaire and forward it up to Management Advisory Group by April the 6th. So we're moving full steam ahead. We would love to get this finished sometime here this summer, but it's going to take some time to get it done. We're not going to rush into it. We want to make sure that we have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed. But that's where we are with it right now, and if you have any questions, I'll answer the best I can.
Okay. Thank you.
That concludes the items that staff has.
Do you have anything? Questions about tonight's agenda?
Yeah, I was thinking, since it's so light, we really could gang up on Maverick.
Oh, yeah, we could throw them for a loop tonight if we wanted to. Let them off easy last time. You got anything for
No, thank you.
Commissioner Williams? Okay, thanks.
So 7 o'clock?
Unless you want to go right now.
Yeah, don't you wish we could?